Have I done things I need to do with regards to succession? Do I have legal documents in place? Have I seen what I want? And am I preparing and acting and committing and moving myself in the direction?
At the end of the day, you as the owner, you would like to have a little less stress as you're transitioning that practice.
And the longer you wait, especially the older you get and the bigger your team gets, the more important succession is, but the less options you end up having.
Welcome to the Total Succession Show. I'm your host, Tyson Ray, joined by Kim Cochenour. We're glad you're here. Subscribe at totalsuccession.com/podcast and let each episode guide you closer to a confident, well-planned exit. Today's conversation just might be the nudge you need to start preparing for what's next.
Welcome back to the Total Succession Show. There's a tidal wave of change actually happening in our industry if you've not been paying attention. M&A activity is accelerating. Aggregators and integrators are buying and acquiring faster than ever, and the valuations are shifting pretty rapidly depending on how your business is structured. So if you're a founder, especially in your 40s and 50s, and you're trying to think about what's next, you are actually navigating a moving target. So we're going to be really honest about what's happening. And the fact that consolidation right now is unlike anything we've actually seen in the industry. And if you're not watching closely, your planning is going to not matter because you're going to get caught afloat in this mess. So, Tyson, let's kind of break down what does it really mean for founders who are trying to plan ahead? Like, when you talk to advisors right now, founders right now, what do you think they realize? Like, do you think they realize how much the landscape is actually changing in the last few years?
No, I think I think they kind of fall in different camps. I think the vast majority of advisors aren't paying attention to the end game because the urgent is crowding out the important. They're wearing too many hats. They're focused on taking care of their clients, and they're focused on continuing to do the routine that got them where they are, but isn't going to get them to where they need to be, especially in terms of succession. I think you then have some who are, actively planning, are exploring their options and are in a good place. And then I think you have some that have thought about it and haven't acted on it. And what I need everyone to know, if you're listening to this, is ask yourself, have I done things I need to do with regards to succession? Do I have legal documents in place? Have I seen what I want? And am I preparing and acting and committing and moving myself in the direction? And if you're not, what I want to tell you is that you need to admit that if you were meant to do it, you had probably done it already. If this is in your will set to do, if this gives you energy to do, you'd have done it already. And if you haven't done anything or anything serious, you need to check into the different experts that are out there that you can delegate this to that can help make you get out of you. What is your total succession? What does it look like for you to do that you may need help to actually accomplish your succession plan? And if you don't get the help, you're probably going to be in the same place you are right now in the next several months, next several years. And the longer you wait, especially the older you get and the bigger your team gets, the more important succession is, but the less options you end up having.
Yeah, it's very true. The lack of time limits your options. So if they're in a crunch for time and they're not even paying attention to how much the landscape has actually changed in the last few years, what do you think the biggest risk is that they'll just assume that their business is going to be just as valuable in the next 5 years as it is today?
I think what every advisor needs to be thinking about with regards to succession is, as the industry grows, as teams grow, as the RIA space grows, as broker-dealers grow, the bigger allows for more resources allow to help clients at a deeper level or offer more breadth of products and services.
Mm-hmm.
The advisor that's basically just trugging along, doing it on their own, has a minimal team, if a team at all, is going to have a very hard time competing in the landscape in the next 5 to 10 years, especially with the fact that AI is coming on to enhance productivity and enhance doing some of the work that needs to be done, that all of these firms that are out there, including ours, are looking to harness, because I feel clients or advisors are going to lose clients not to AI. They're going to lose clients to teams and firms that are using AI to enhance the client relationship.
Yeah. So consolidation is happening. The pace of it isn't going to be slowing it down. But we all know that the heart of our industry isn't going to be changing and taking care of clients, just because the wealth transfer that's going to be happening is even more monumental than the amount of advisors retiring out of the space. So The thing is though, how does this change the impact of the value of your practice? So we're going to kind of dig into that. So Tyson, are advisors actually losing their negotiating power because of the consolidation, or is there still room for them if they act early?
I think it depends. I think it depends on, is your practice growing or shrinking? I think it depends on, do you have a bench that can basically help deal with the growth beyond you, or you're going to reach a ceiling of complexity. I think it depends on how old are your clients, and are you renting? Is your practice worth anything past the current client generation, and what you're doing for the beneficiaries, or where the wealth is going to be transferring? I think every advisor needs to be asking themselves, am I ready to be done? And if I'm not, have I put things in place that when I'm ready to be done, I can be done?
Mm-hmm. So they need to be focusing on a couple of different elements. And one thing I think is been lost in the market returns for the last few years, that the growth of your practice cannot be based on the market returns. It's like, are your actual assets growing? Not the assets you already have growing just because of market. Like you can't be lost to those numbers. We've said it multiple times on this show. Your practice is dying slowly, but you actually still think you're winning because the market is outpacing the death of your practice. So can you kind of break down, because Tyson, you've looked at a couple of different options and thinking through the succession planning. I think people and advisors are losing out on the idea of what their practice is actually worth because they can't quantify what that actually means. So what do you see are some of the most common misconceptions that advisors or business owners still have about what the aggregators and integrators are actually looking for? Like, where does that misalignment come in?
Yeah, I think the misalignment comes in that the advisor feels like they are where the value sits, and so they have to keep doing more. When the reality is that the value of your firm increases to the extent that the owner's responsibilities decrease. That if the owner's no longer there, the responsibilities of the things that the owner was responsible for, whether it's client facing, portfolio management, the marketing, the new client boarding process, the network, all of that.
Mhm.
If you're wearing all of those hats and then you're looking for someone to come acquire your practice, you might be surprised the discount you're going to get to your practice, because if you're not at your practice can't survive without you. And the conflict comes in is that too many advisors, I feel, are trying to spend everything that they make, and therefore are unwilling to cap their lifestyle or reinvest in their practice to take the risk of hiring the who to take over the how of the things that need to be delegated away. So when you step away, someone would want to buy your practice because it's a self-managed company that runs itself.
Mhm. Well, and that really puts you in the seat to have more leverage to plan your exit instead of it being just dictated to you and you're just really kind of left in the wind. And at the end of the day, I think you as the owner, you would like to have a little less stress as you're transitioning that practice.
And there's solution. I mean, if you're in that camp, there are solutions for you, but again, that's the integrator solution, where they're just going to come buy you out, take everything over. Everything that you've ever created is going to shift to what they do, because that's how you prepared your firm to make a transition, because those are some of the only options that are available to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truthfully, most of you listening aren't looking to sell next week. So, Tyson, we're going to talk specifically to the listeners who are 3, 5, less than 10 years out. We've talked about a couple of different key elements on the show before, but how should they be looking at the next 3 to 5 years to really strengthen their position, even if the sale is not imminent?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I think if you're less than 5 years, you're going to be hard pressed to build out the team if you haven't already built out the team, because you are going to be wrong with some of your hires, which being wrong with any one of your hires often prevents you from wanting to try another hire. And so those that are 5 years or less towards wanting to have some type of exit or monetize their practice in some capacity, uh, are 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 in the integrator aggregator scenario. The difference between the two is the integrator is going to completely make you integrate into what they're doing and take everything over and take your headaches away, and you just basically get to be meeting with the clients or whatever you like to do for a period of years. For those of you that built something that you're proud of, and you like your brand and you like your team and you like things, your aggregator is kind of like you're either going to build your team or you're going to use an aggregator to join a team that's going to give you options for resources, for marketing, or for portfolio management. They basically have kind of plug and play what you want to delegate to them to take over, resources that they would then have to also help you try and grow or leverage or have the ability to let you stay in the firm for as long as you want to stay in the firm, but and do the things that you want to do while they kind of help build the bench, if you will.
Mm.
And the latter, which is here, you're going to try and remain independent and have your own team and go that regard. You just need a lot more time for that to play itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely some options there for you. But yeah, that 3 to 5 year window does give you a little bit more of a clear lane of what you can and can't do. And the integrator aggregator is an option. That's why it exists. That works for you. That's a solution. But not every advisor wants to make that decision. So, Tyson, honestly, it's kind of a lot to take in when you're kind of in that fast and furious mindset. Specifically, it kind of might have been a little bit of a wake up call, but this doesn't have to be a crisis. It doesn't have to be a panic. You've got some time. So you said before, Tyson, better prepared firms perform better. What does it look? What does that specifically look like when the buyer shows up to a prepared firm?
Well, for one, I think you have more certainty around what you want, and so you're not falling prey to the enticements or the dollar amounts that can become distracting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the better prepared firm leaves their clients in a better position. I think a better prepared firm, we have another colleague that is going through this, that they decided they were going to make a switch, and they're making the switch, and the clients, I think, are a little shell shocked because they're having a hard time getting the clients to sign off on the documents to then make the transition, which is all necessary in order for you to accomplish the actual succession. And so a better prepared firm has been able to communicate to the client why this is what the plan is, and this is why it's good for you, and this is what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
rather than they're hearing it while they're getting paperwork to make the switch.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, if the clients don't move, your practice doesn't sell for what you think it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, succession in our consolidating industry doesn't have to be reactive. It can be strategic and it can be on your own terms. So, today, this kind of got your wheels turning. You're at a good place. So, take one step, whether it's reviewing your systems, calling your attorney, or just making space to actually think about what's next. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today here on the Total Succession Show. We'll be back soon for more conversations like this.
These conversations are designed to support your next move, however close or far it may be. Tap subscribe and let each episode guide you closer to a confident, well-planned exit. I've wrestled with these things myself, and that's exactly why I created something to help you do it with less stress and more direction. My book, Total Succession, is now available on Amazon. Inside, I break the process down into 5 clear steps to help you exit on your terms with confidence, full compensation, and your client's best interests at heart. You can also visit totalsuccession.com/podcast to download a free starter guide that walks you through my SPACE framework: see, prepare, act, commit, exit. Remember, you only exit your business once. Create the space to do it well. Thanks for listening. Until next time.